What's up, guys? Back at the car, which means I'm back talking about the Noles and obviously the news that broke yesterday. Willie Taggart will become the next head coach of Florida State. I sifted through a lot of crap online. Now I guess I'm ready for my reaction. I'm not going to call it an analysis, pretend I'm some fucking professional doing this. But general thoughts. Number one, if you're a Florida State fan, be excited. Be excited about this hire. All right. Secondly, this whole process, man, it really did seem like it was taking forever. And then, yesterday I thought to myself, the last game of the season was only a few days ago. This is not that drawn out. I mean, imagine being fucking Tennessee still. They still don't have a head coach. Gee, I mean, god damn. So, tip of the cap for the Noles higher-ups or whatever, getting this shit done relatively quickly. Apparently Taggart's going to be introduced about an hour and 45 minutes from now, according to Noles 24/7. I think Tomahawk Nation mentioned how he would probably be at the FSU basketball game tonight, which is pretty standard for a new football coach, introduce yourself to the masses and all that shit. Anyway, the hire itself. What do I think? I'm trying to keep, Taggart's bio, his resume, to a minimum since I kind of rambled on about it on the last video. But initial reaction is I'm excited. I think it's a good fit. You read through whether it's FSU media or maybe more importantly, national media. A lot of national media members are lauding this hire. It's not some FSU fanboys jerking their shit. It's national media saying, I think FSU may have hit a home run here. Again, may. Potential is a dangerous thing. But I tend to agree with that sentiment that Florida State may have hit a home run here. Taggart, what does he bring to the table? In case you didn't watch my last rambling video. Some of the boxes he checks. Again, he's young. He's 41 years old. He's an elite recruiter. Oregon currently, I think before this news started to break that he could be the next coach, I think their class was standing somewhere around 6th in the 24/7 composite. On pace to be the best class in Oregon program history. All right, and I always look at recruiting rankings every year. Typically, whenever I see that big green fucking O, it's in the neighborhood of 15 to 20. It's never as high as it is right now. That's about to drop, but we'll get to that later. What else? He runs a power spread offense. He's been known to be very able to adapt his personnel to his scheme based on everything you read. For instance, I think Nolecast mentioned how, when he got to South Florida, first couple seasons after inheriting a dumpster fire were a bit of a struggle. Quentin Flowers comes along. Initially, they were just wanting to run a lot of, West Coast stuff because Taggart is from the Harbaugh tree. I'll get into that later. And he, instead of trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, as they say, he adapted his offense around his personnel, around Flowers and company. Spread you out, yet still try and run the ball and take deep shots. Wasn't trying to methodically work his way down the field like Joe Montana in the 80s or some shit. He saw what he had and adapted his personnel, adapted the offense to his personnel, which is what any good coach should do. Some, and I'm not going to try and disparage Jimbo too much in this thing because, as I said before, I think he's still a good coach. I respect what he did at FSU. The ending was pretty terrible, way to go out, but Jimbo was oftentimes, maybe one of the criticisms was, has he really evolved? And I think that's questionable. I mean, words from his own mouth just this past season when Francois went down, a reporter asked, what's going to change? And he said nothing. Offense isn't going to change. Nothing's going to change. Now, maybe that was coach speak. Maybe. But oftentimes when you watch the offense, especially in recent seasons, when you didn't have a once-in-a-generation quarterback running the offense at peak efficiency, you would see almost like a square peg in a round hole. Perfect example, again, I'm not no X's and O's genius, But FSU's bread and butter on run plays has been like stretch zone stuff for a number of years now. Most of Jimbo's tenure. That's kind of their bread and butter. It's worked well. It's not all they run, obviously, when they're running the ball. But anyways, Patrick, sometimes on a stretch or a zone or even a toss, scratched my head many a time wondering, why is Patrick doing these plays more often than Akers? I don't mind Patrick doing them from time to time. That's fine. Like, he did a good job when he played for the most part, you know? Had a solid season. But it just seemed like the Florida game, perfect example. Points in the game, I was at the game. Now, you know, I don't have the all 22s to look at or the TV to look at, so it's kind of hard to tell, but at least early on, I'm like, why is Patrick getting the tosses or the zone or the stretches and Akers is getting the dives? Doesn't make fucking much sense to me, you know? Or having a freshman quarterback try and, you know, read a defense, make like 2, 3, 4 reads if possible. At least it seemed that way. It didn't seem like, I hate to say dumbed it down, but it didn't seem like they dumbed down the playbook a lot. Like, they may have limited some of the playbook, but there wasn't enough tweaking, enough fitting a square peg in a fucking square hole. At least that's what it appeared. It just appeared to be a struggle consistently. And this offensive season isn't the only one. There's been other moments where I was like, why is so-and-so doing that play? Anyways, enough about Jimbo. So he can adapt his offense, which typically is a power spread. And I'm at home again. Let me let myself fucking in this bitch. All right, another quality that you want to have in a head coach that he has, the ability to assemble a very good staff. I mean, I don't know all the names at Oregon, but the fact that he got Jim Leavitt and Cristobal at Oregon, it was huge. Now, speaking of Leavitt, or Levitt, pronounce his fucking name, sounds like he could be headed to Tallahassee, but not necessarily 100% done deal. Sounds like perhaps he could stay if, let's say, Cristobal was retained as head coach because he's now the interim at Oregon, and he gets Jim Leavitt or Levitt to stay. But if not, if Levitt comes to Florida State, that is a huge fucking coup. I'm not going to go into his detail much, but the Tallahassee Democrat, and I'm home now, look at the camera, had an article that just showed how much he's improved defenses just the last couple seasons at his last 2 stops. Oregon's defense was ranked in the hundreds in the S&P last year. This year under Leavitt, or Levitt, I can't pronounce his name, fuck it, Levitt, I'm sticking with Levitt. Their defense jumped from the hundreds to like the 50-something. Huge jump. The year before, he was at Colorado, the Buffaloes. Their defense the year before he got there, it was terrible. Their defense was like top 20 last year. This year without him, they've dropped to close to 100 or some shit like that. So that would be a great fucking hire, obviously, if Taggart could get him to come. So you got the youth, you got the work ethic with Taggart, you got the recruiting ability, the ability to assemble a staff. Now, what is he personally like as a coach? I think that's to be determined. I think most people would say he has a high ceiling and maybe a middling floor to a low floor. But that's why I'm excited, though, about the high ceiling. As personally as an FSU fan, you know, the standard should be going after titles, conference and otherwise. All right? I'd rather them hire a guy with upside, as in, like, titles, than hire, like, say, a safe pick, like a Dan Mullen. And I'm not going to shit on Mullen. I think I've said it here before. That's a solid hire and a good fit for UF. But let's be real, it was like their 3rd or 4th option, and he became more the safe pick. By safe, you know, probably a 9-3, 10-2 type coach, which is great. But would most people say Mullen's upside is national title? I don't think so. And I'm not just saying from like an FSU perspective, like nationally, I think a lot of guys would say that. Like, Mullen's he's obviously an improvement over fucking Shark Fucker. I mean, that goes without question. But if you're going to compare the two schools and their hires, which is inevitable, I prefer Taggart based on the upside. If he falls on his face and goes through the floor, you know, so be it. Fine. Back to the drawing board. Based on his ability to hire a great staff, I think that's less of an issue. I think the reason maybe myself and a lot of media members, and I'm not in the media, obviously, think that he might have a lower floor is because his resume, the 47-50 record that morons, misinformed people, haters want to keep gravitating towards. All right, he's turned around every program he's been at. I'll go through it one more time. Western Kentucky was a joke. Had lost like 20 consecutive games. By year 2 and 3, he won 7 games each of those years. South Florida was a fucking shit show when he arrived. By year 3, they had 8 wins. And, of course, his last year, he went 10-2. He didn't coach the bowl game, so not 11-2. And South Florida finished like top 20 in the polls. And here he got strong, strolled into South Florida, and just picked up where he left off. Like, because guess what? The cupboard wasn't bare. The foundation was there. And, you know, with Oregon, 4-8 last year, shitty as hell. He made them 7-5 this year, which isn't outstanding. But, side note, again, his starting quarterback missed like 5 or 6 games. With their quarterback, they were like 6-1, averaging like 52 points a game. The guy has shown a track record of improving each place he's been at. All right? So, the 47-50, please, people, dig deeper. It's like me saying, talking shit about Mullen's record versus ranked teams, which is, I think, the worst of all time, by the way. It's like 2-16 or some shit. But I'm not going to do that, because I know Mullen is probably better than that. He was at fucking Starkville. What kind of recruits want to go to fucking Starkville? The recruits that you need to, you know, hang with ranked teams. All right? So, last time I'll say that. Drop the record crap. Dig a little deeper. It's not that hard to look. It is a great hire for Florida State. Now, to be determined. We'll see how he does. We'll see how he does. I think he'll do well. Year 1, 0 expectations, year 1. He has a complete pass from me. I'm not going to get pissed if they, you know, go 8-4 or something like that. I'm not. And perfect example, recent example, Georgia. Now, I'm not saying he's Kirby Smart. Again, to be determined. But they were 7-6 in Kirby's first year. Some Georgia fans were livid, but the smart ones knew it's year 1. He's kind of setting the foundation. Let's see. And look where Georgia's at this year. What else? It's a great hire because this is his dream job. He told his Oregon players this. By the way, he was transparent in the entire process with Oregon administration, his players, letting them know, yes, I'm listening to FSU's offer. It's my dream job. He told them this. And he recruited and did his job as an Oregon head coach till he wasn't an Oregon head coach anymore. So this, oh, he's a snake. He was Oregon recruiting one day, now he's FSU. Yeah, that's how it works. Jim Leavitt, if he leaves as well, same deal. The guy is employed by Oregon. He's going to continue to do his job as an Oregon coach till he's gone. It's that simple. Are you going to, like, disparage someone for taking their fucking dream job in the case of Taggart? That's fucking lame. No. So, that could be good for longevity at Florida State because the odds of him leaving his dream job are probably slim. And before someone says, oh, well, Fisher, Florida State was his dream job. He loved Florida State, but some rumors or some people in the media will tell you that it might not necessarily have been his dream job. That might have been a job in the SEC, like maybe in Auburn or in LSU that he just couldn't pull the trigger on. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. This is getting long. Be happy about the hire. I feel like I'm forgetting something. The fuck am I forgetting about him? I can't think of it right now. Fuck me. I had something, but I lost it. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm excited that he's the hire. God damn, it's going to be a long off season because you want to see what he can do. But looking forward to what he brings to the table. It should be fun, and I don't think it's going to take him long to turn FSU around. All right, that's it. That's all. I'm out. Thanks for listening.